So Babs, first off, congrats on Ungentlemanly Warfare. I really enjoyed the film, and you have such a cool part. But I was really curious, how did you first get connected with Guy Ritchie? I know you worked on Wrath of Man before this. Did you
Yeah,
guys connect through like Jiu-Jitsu, or how did you guys connect?
not at all, like, yeah, we trained jujitsu together many, many years ago, but he didn't even remember that. The reality is, I was, living in Brooklyn and I sent in a self-tape for Wrath of Man. And subsequently, like 3 weeks later, I moved to London and, he found out I was in town and, or the casting person found out I was in town. And all of a sudden they really tried their best to get me on that film, and and that was it. So
That's wonderful.
3 days into that shoot, then I reminded him, like, we actually trained together. You actually trained with me many years ago.
How is he on the mat? Matt, how's it rolling with him?
Well, he was good. He was very good back then, and he got even better because he's also a black belt for many years now. So yeah.
That's awesome. And specific to the movie, you have this great role as Richard Heron. You're really setting things in motion here. It's a very active, very fun role. What did you like most about your part in the plot of this film?
Just what you said, is setting it up, helping to set it up, being a sort of through line through the story along with Asa. I thought that was really, it was really wonderful to have an opportunity to play with that.
Yeah, you have a lot of great scenes with Asa, and she just shines throughout this. What kind of stood out about her as a scene partner?
She was super collaborative, she was warm. We really got on well together. So it was really wonderful to work with her, gave each other space, and yeah, just really like met within the work in a really lovely way. And that was it. That's all you need.
And I was curious, she seems like a delight, but Till Schweiger is just so intense and so unlikable in this film. How was
Yeah,
that dynamic on set and working with him? I know he's a very talented director as well as an actor, but
yeah,
boy, he's horrible in this, like as
yeah,
a character.
absolutely. No, listen, he was wonderful to work with, he came and he did his thing. He was good to interact with. He was very how should I say, very complimentary of everybody, and he was really excited to be working with Guy. He really was. And he was very excited about our with our train scene. Myself and Asa, there was a day he saw that and he just went on and on about it. He really loved it. So yeah, he was very cool to work with.
And then one of my favorite scenes in the film is the one where you're planning a bomb, you get caught by the Nazis, and then you turn the tables on them. What was it
Yeah.
like filming that sequence? That's such a fun exchange.
That was cool. That was like, it's one of those, like, you've seen it, before, and now you get to do your version of it. So to have that like warehouse to myself and all of a sudden have these guys behind me. And we planned, of course, the rig of the pistols a while back. So it was very, very cool to finally have the opportunity to pop that out and get rid of these guys.
And I was curious, now that you've worked with Guy multiple times, what was it like coming back for this project where you already have a rapport with him, you know what he wants from an actor. Is that a lot? Is that helpful from your end?
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, of course, this role was more substantial than my role in Wrath of Man. So it went, the relationship went even deeper within the work on this. And yeah, and it was fantastic. He was, right there, really giving his notes, giving the new dialogue every morning, but really engaged, and really just, sitting there and just making sure he was getting what he needed. It was very, we were cooking something, the whole time it felt like we were cooking something, and I could see him very excited about what we were doing. And, I'm already excited. Asa was already excited. So we just had a lot of fun. We just had a lot of fun working with Guy.
And I was curious, since you do have such a decorated jiu-jitsu background, has that kind of helped with your acting, either through like maybe choreography with fight scenes or just the work ethic? How do you feel about that?
I imagine in a certain kind of way, both things have always been quite different for me. I approached jujitsu, in martial arts, like I always saw it as very separate from acting, just studying acting but with many years of both, I realized sometimes you use the same language. And if there's discipline, it goes a long way, and focus and just movement. And at the same time, the psychological, the mental, being present, or things going very wrong if you're not present, just like things can go wrong in a match if you're not present, they can go wrong in a scene if you're not present at all, because you won't be present enough to receive and give. So there's definitely some comparisons there. And yeah, it's just art in general. So I very much love both.
That's a really great explanation. And one role I really loved of yours recently was in Dune, and I was curious because you're not in that movie very long, but it's such a pivotal character building scene. It's the apex of that first movie. It completely changes Paul's character. So, what is it like when you're so pivotal to the movie, but you're just in a small portion? How does that feel?
I remember getting that film and then being sent the script, or at least, that scene or the fight scene, and maybe just the scene preceding the fight scene. And I felt like I knew immediately, I understood immediately what the film was going for, or the story, as in, yeah, this is a guy that has to be knocked over for this person to be, elevated. It's a rite of passage, so to speak. But of course, my job was to make sure that Jamis was given a lot of life and as much truth as possible, as much of a lived life as possible, so that when we met him and with that explosion of that fight, that his passing would be something that would stay with us. That was the challenge for me, and that's really what I wanted to do, to make sure it wasn't just, this is a part where we get to the part of the movie where our hero knocks down this person, and wow, look, he's a badass. I wanted us to really feel the life of Jamis and maybe regret the fact that Jamis should not be dying, and that really was just bring as much truth as possible to the
Yeah,
movie. Yeah.
you're fantastic in that. And then my last question for you, you've had this little relationship with Rockstar Games. You were in Max Payne 3 and Red Dead 2. How did
Yeah.
that relationship come about?
I think they brought me in for some audition. It was like an acting audition, really. But it was one of those where it was like maybe a monologue plus something else. And it was the first game I did for them was probably Max Payne. Uh,
Yeah.
and the director was very sort of excited about what I brought in the room for him. And that was it, really. I just did this monologue, and it was a very interesting process doing that. Yeah.